Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I am Sakhi Jidan binti Nur Zakman. I am a student in Early Childhood Education at Al-Bukhari International University, AIU. This video will answer to the most commonly searched questions on Down syndrome. Some people are born with a Down syndrome. No one knows what causes it. Just means they have an extra chromosome. Tiny cells are scattered across their body. Cells in this system are tiny dot size. They are so tiny you cannot see them without a microscope. A cell is called by something, a source of information which determines your appearance. Eye color, hair, and even their height are determined. Why is it called Down syndrome? Down syndrome is a name after Dr. John Langdon Down, a British physician who described the characteristic of people with a Down syndrome for the first time. His son with Down syndrome named by grandfather after Dr. Down passed away. What causes Down syndrome? In the case of Down syndrome, a person is born with the extra material on chromosome 21 as well as being neurotypically developing. A person has 23 pairs of chromosome, 2 times 23 or 46 chromosome. There are 3 pairs which are numbered 1, 2, 3 and so on. The most common form of Down syndrome in chromosome 21 is called trisomy 21 Down syndrome. Rather than having 2 copies of chromosome 21, there will be extra chromosome in every cell in the body of a person with a trisomy 21. Trisomy 21 is characterized by physical and developmental challenges. One of the major risks is an increased mother's age. Down syndrome affects each person differently. The condition is not an illness, so no one else can get it. There are just some of the unique features that make them unique. Down syndrome is born in only 1 per 800 babies in Malaysia. They go to school, like to dance, sing, and play with their friends beside their chromosome. They are just like us. How can you tell someone has Down syndrome? Some Down syndrome people are healthy, while others have significant health problems. Everyone with a Down syndrome is individual intellectual and developmental problems may be mild, moderate, or severe. These characteristics make people with a Down syndrome different. A baby with a Down syndrome has upward slanted eyelids. The nasal bridge will be a little depressive for children with a Down syndrome. A person with a Down syndrome has lower set ears, shorter fingers, a larger gap between the first and second digits of their toes, and broad, short hands. Note that these characteristics are not medical problems, but are additional features that can be distinguished from born with a Down syndrome. What is the probability of male and female getting Down syndrome? Down syndrome occurs more in male than female, but a lot of male and female in Malaysia and around the world suffer from Down syndrome. Some of underlying areas that are affected by development are poor muscle tone, which is affecting strength, and endurance, broad, short hands with relatively short fingers, which decreases coordination for both gross motor and fine motor activities. Inclusion is more than just a word. It is a culture, a mindset, and an expectation that everyone can and will learn and succeed alongside with their age-appropriate peers. It can be challenging to include them in the learning. Sometimes they need extra resources and information, but giving them space to learn from the teacher and peer is the best way to challenge them and allow them to grow. What is it like to have Down syndrome? People with a Down syndrome continue to respond in research and in surveys that they love their life. They like how they look and they really enjoy all the aspects of their life. People with a Down syndrome might have some medical issues, but thanks to advances in medicine, their physicians are helping to treat and prevent some of those issues. This allows people with a Down syndrome to succeed in classroom. People with a Down syndrome, of course, are great members, brothers and sisters People with a Down syndrome are graduating from school and becoming great employees, and people with a Down syndrome, like their counterparts, enter into different romantic relationships that are meaningful and important to them. In some people with a Down syndrome have declared loud and clear they love their life, which are full of meaning and worth. What does it mean live with a Down syndrome today? There has never been a better moment than now to be born with a Down syndrome, because medicine and science continue to advance to address, prevent, and anticipate many of medical needs, and people with a Down syndrome now have access to a variety of living in arrangements after they become adults. Fight discrimination and stigma against this condition with empathy and awareness.